Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here, sharing your most precious asset with me, and that is your time. Welcome to the Crypto Liver Show. Bad, bad. Bitcoin ripping in my face. 88,500, 600, going crazy. Let's watch this intro. I can't even stop. I can't wait. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Bitcoin banking, 88,650. I just made a monster long. I want to talk about why. We're going to see what's going on here. The pump is real to the upside for BTC. Insanity. And we'll see what happens to this long. Right now, it's up $594, $600 just pumping. That's one of them. Then I got my scalps cooking too. Right here on weeks, up $200. That's just, I just wanted to make the daily 5 of the scalp and see where we go. I gave this trade to the trading group this morning. If you're in the group, you were able to see exactly what I was talking about and what's going on. I think I'm a little bigger than normal. I could be a little smaller, but it's going to be big. It's going to be big. So we talked about it. The 21 was touching above the 200. The stochastics were low. Many times we do get a pump to the upside due to that. That is one of my signals. And we got the pump. So is this sustainable? Are we going to continue to pump? We're going to talk about it. I should almost start to, move my stop loss up a little bit and take some risk off the table as well. I might even think of taking something off the table here. This 399 trade is also up. So I got trades all around the board, as you can see. That one will move to break even no matter what. I think I might even just take this 400 in a second. That's one trade I can take, call it a win, and then just keep moving for the day. But I like this pump to the upside that we're getting here for Bitcoin. There was something in the charts that spoke to me. I can't explain exactly how it works. I mean, it's a signal, right? I can't explain. It was the 21 touching above the 200. That's for the short, but even the bigger time frame spoke to me. I'm going to show you what I see happening on the daily, and we're going to break it down, have some fun, and deep dive some sauce. All right? Hit the like button. Let's get pumping here. Let's get the show running. We don't want to waste any more time. If you are missing out right now on exact price action, this is happening in real time. These are real trades. I am ripping right now. This trade above me too is up what? This trade now up 800. This trade's up 500. This other trade's up 278 of the trade. Starting to pump. I'm moving stop losses to break even. All right, I can't lose 2 of these trades now. We just keep ripping to the upside. I like it. 89,000 for Bitcoin. Huge pump. Oh my gosh, 210, 273. That to me is unsustainable. Every time this happens, I do sell early, but I got to take something off the table there. Whenever I've seen a move that big, so I'm going to leave my bigger trade cooking, and I got to start looking at the smaller time frames and see what happened there. But that was a spike beyond belief. For a low volume Friday too, I wouldn't play yourself. I'm taking profits. Yeah, we're getting too far for the 21 in my humble opinion. And again, I'm likely going to sell early, but that's why I'm going to keep another trade open. Look at this short squeeze. Pumping. Amazing. And look, we got 90,000 in up there calling our name. Let's see, can I stay in? They almost got me there, and I stayed in. Look at this massive pump, 690 pumping on the day here. And I just played the model. I didn't know it was going to pump on a low volume Friday. It was definitely high risk. But this is what we do almost every single day. I just do the same. Oh my gosh, with the massive move to the upside, I'm going to keep quartering this puppy, and I'm out. What a boot, what a move. And this thing's likely going to continue. But it's look at that double bottom off the 200 moving average, the 21 above 2. Same, the 1 minute even carried the signal. And last night, when the 1 minute crossed the 200 moving average right here, when it made a flag, look at this. The 1 minute made a beautiful flag and just decided to rip. We talked about this on the 5 minute time frame last night. If you were in my weekly screen share every single Thursday night, I share my entire portfolio. I talk about what I'm looking at. I talk about what's going on. And I showed you guys how much I'm still deep in the market, right? And I still own, a lot of altcoins. Like, I'm not done, man. I'm not willing to give up the idea that there could be a super cycle next year. I'll hold. And if they're not, you know what? Then we're already halfway through that hopium will get me at least halfway through the year. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, I can lie to myself through the couple years. Next thing you know, it'll be 2027. And then I'll have 1 year to the halving and I'll be done, man. So I don't really stress this stuff. I've made it through 69 down to 15K. I think, and I know anything is possible. I'm not trying to say, but hey, so what a beautiful day it is to be alive. The other trade absolutely ripping up too. Up a nice $1,000. Could just take it and call it a day, but I see something on the bigger time frame calling my name here. And so I want to let that one cook. I'm going to let that one cook. But yeah, I just sold this wick right here. If you're with me, if you're just jumping on in, thank you for jumping on in. If you're late to the party, man, don't be late to the stream. There's so much going on here. Like, this is like the hardest part of the stream too right now at the very moment that we start pumping. So pay attention, focus. All right. So check it out. See how we got this high here at 89,400? Bang. We got this high too at 88.4. And this high, look at that. Resistance, bounce, resistance, bounce. You're just starting to see good key supportive resistance playing out on smaller time frames. All right. And just simple stuff. So look, this looks like a double bottom cup and handle in a way on the daily time frame. Now, I still want us to get above that level and above 94K. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'd still be cautious. I wouldn't go like super hard. But, there's something brewing here with this daily move. So let's talk about the bigger picture and break down our top-down analysis like we do every single day. God bless everybody here on the stream. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Sharing your most precious asset with me, and that is your time. Welcome to the Crypto Liver Show. So we have this swing up, swing up. We have swing down, swing down. That is hidden, bullish divergence. Okay? I know it doesn't make sense. Usually when there's the fear has to be high. The fear hit 10 and 11, which is what I look for. So every time I've bought a Bitcoin bottom, I've had hidden bullish divergence or a bullish divergence on a massively big time frame, like the weekly or the day. This is on the monthly, which is pretty serious. And honestly, though, these pumps are just so superfluous. I still feel like it's just like, I don't know, maybe just take all the money every day. Every time I take the money every day, it pays out. All right. There you go. So 16 on the fear. All right. I mean, at the last time it was at 10, 11. To me, it's just too good. It's too good for the getting too beautiful. So that, to me, tells me I got to be buying Bitcoin or holding positions at the very least. If I'm heavy in something, I can't seem to sell in heavy fear. Like, selling in fear has never done me well. You know what I mean? And once I started to use this indicator, I bought the fear. And again, I'm not a financial advisor. Another guy saying you should be taking as financial advice, and you're going to do whatever makes you happy as we continue on this journey. But this shaded region here, this dark shaded region, as it gets deeper into it, and when you flow in, I mean, to me, that is just, it's created all the opportunity in my life. Like, a lot of the biggest opportunities in my life have come from when this got down. And we were at 11 just last week. So I don't know what's going to happen. But I will tell you that these indications are very interesting to me. And then when I pull the fib, it says that the daily doesn't look good. Like other time frames, they don't look amazing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not getting the confirmation that I'm looking for on the bigger time frames. I'm just not. But again, I'm also going to take it one step, one day at a time, because things will be revealed to me. See, what you do is you trade for 10 or 12 years. Maybe even 15, maybe 20. You store a bunch of data in your mind. Somehow your mind starts changed. There's neuroplasticity there. Your mind literally changes to the flow of the charts. After years of doing it every single day, your mind will change. It just will. Because you're doing this, something mathematical, geometric, and, you're trading every day with these shapes. Your mind will change. And once your mind changes, you're going to realize that, you have so much stored data inside your subconscious. Then you're going to watch price action, and then you're going to get these little signals that go off. And you're not going to really try to explain it, and you're going to know when to enter and exit trades. It's quite fascinating. And you're actually trading with your subconscious mind. You're not trading with your conscious mind anymore. You're on autopilot. And it comes from years and years of just being in the zone. And this will happen, I'm pretty sure, to anyone that just keeps going. If you do it as much as I would do, oh my God, you're going to get locked in. You're going to be locked in. So Bitcoin holding 88,350. I like it. Let's go over the bigger, smaller time frames quickly now today, right? I don't want to. We spent a little too much time yesterday on the bigger time frame, but so this looks good to me as a possible reversal. I'd like this to close green though, and get back up. There is still also a support there at 82,300, 82,550. 2-week chart showing signs of life with at least a wick to the upside. I don't love the red candle, but it's not engulfing. And then look at the weekly, attempting a tweezer bottom, as ugly as it is, higher than the previous one. With an indecision doji there, we could still be getting the bounce. We could still, and again, as I've said many times, it still could just be the right shoulder. I'm not saying it's going to be, but hey, we hit an all-time high, and then it could come crash down. You never know. But just one step at a time. I don't even have to think that far ahead, but I can show you what could happen if we get what we're looking for. All right. So back at 88,000, this weekly candle closes, right? And then we have our macro analysis today too on the weekly. This is all going to come together. And so we're watching to see if this candle can close green. The NASDAQ, the S&P, everything looking great. Gold ripping, Tesla ripping, Bitcoin back to 88,450. Looking ferocious, like it wants to take a bite out of crime over here. So let's move further down the line. I love the 5-day. Again, still have to keep the idea that the 5-day could just be making a bear flag. And we could bounce, and everyone's like, you just were so bullish, Sam. You showed us the stuff on the monthly. Yes, I did. But those are probabilities. And I've also never backtested that on the monthly. And it should happen just like the weekly, but I don't know for sure. It's not 100%. So what I do is I keep gathering data. I'm not here to tell you exactly what's going to happen. I'm showing you how I'm figuring out what's going to happen. You're basically with the detective who's at the scene. I'm now collecting all the evidence. I'm not sure exactly who did what. I have some inklings and some ideas, but I need to have solidification. I'm looking for, the bloody glove, so to speak, right? I don't know, that's not too, you know what I mean? I don't know, that's kind of yeah. But I'm looking, shouldn't say that because it pertains to other stuff, right? But you know what I'm saying? I'm looking for the clue, in the game of Clue, let's make it lighter. In the game of Clue, I'm looking for the weapon, the footprint, something that got left, something that leaves a path, a pattern. So this 5-day, if it digs in and it closes there, we could get another rip at least back to the top of the channel. All right? Somewhere back up to here is all I would think. 3-day candle, it's trying to put in a tweezer bottom, but it's below the 200 moving average. And to me, that kind of already fell out of what looks like a bear flag to me. You're kind of lingering. Still somewhat of a double bottom, still hanging out. And it's digging. It's trying to dig. Stick in the mud there. And then you could bring this down. You could say, well, that's also a double bottom here. And what's interesting is I looked at it for the first time this morning, and I said, man, could it have been a manipulated cup and handle? Basically, it's supposed to be a nice cup. Cooper Cup, funny. Cooper Cup. Man, he dropped the ball yesterday. He never does that. He must have been so bad. He's notorious for never dropping it. So this thing is tight. And maybe it was supposed to be a nice round, but it went up and down in this level. And now you got this handle, right, that you just broke out of today. But we've done this a few times. Is it sustainable is the question. Let's see. That would be a bullish engulfing candle if it closed. And we're oversold. lack of bearish momentum, it seems like we could get the bounce, right? And so it seems the daily wants to put in a bit of a double bottom. But, so this is like the optimistic, cowabunga dude, let's go all in, baby. I'm not really sold because of the 3-day. There's a lot of questions for me. I don't think it's smart to go hard. I think it's, take a trade. I thought to go hard. My mind's kind of twisted on like whether I'd want to be like all in on a big time frame or just wait it out. It's starting to set up like a possible reversal though. We have to. And honestly, what would catch everybody off guard? Like, it would make sense to us because we do this every day. So what you see and you kind of like, oh yeah. But you have to remember, you're here with me every single day. So it makes sense. But if you weren't here every single day, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know what the masses really feel because we're not the masses anymore. We're watching the charts every day. We're kind of stuck in the zone here. We're not exactly sure what they're saying, where we're going with it. Okay? But, for sure, a move back up to 93K looks like it could be likely. We got this big bar of 90,000 here sitting big red hanging out now. It's the closest red. It's waiting there. It's saying, hey, we still got 82.5, but it's thinner than it was after yesterday's shenanigans. So 90,000. So we'll see. So could the daily make a move here? To me, it's really about the daily candle close. You could front run it right now with a stop loss below. High risk for sure, but there's, a huge reward to that high risk. Again, these are all things that people have to figure out for themselves, right? So there's a possible, so I never thought about this. I never saw it. I never really considered it. This morning I woke up and I don't know if I had a different night of sleep or you know how it happens. You just see the charts differently sometimes. And our minds are ever flowing, right? Always constantly evolving and we're changing. And we should always be thinking differently, looking at something differently. Like you don't want to get stuck in the same mindset. And, that way you can never outthink the mindset you're stuck in, right? You want to be able to be versatile in your thought process. Be able to look back and say, I was wrong. Or, there was more information to be had there at the time. I probably thought something that maybe isn't true anymore. Because I now have more I have more information. And I'm not, That's why everyone says you've changed. It's like, how could you not change when you get so much more data and your life changes? Of course you're going to change. You're not the same person when you learn more. When you see more. When you touch more. When you go places. You travel the world, you won't be the same. You'll see so much more. You'll think so much more about so many different things. Like, how do you do that? So it's just like a thought process in your mind. 58,500 for Bitcoin. General Motors still looking good. Isn't that crazy? Just continuing to rip. So you have to remember, this still could be a 5-day bear flag. I just want to keep, consider that idea. And then we get to the daily time frame. The possible double bouton, right? And that takes us, and so we look at the daily. And to me, I think it's smart to say, no, this was your daily flag. You broke out of it. It was kind of a descending, ascending triangle. Like it was, it had some highs here that it hit. And you got to get back inside this pattern. Like otherwise, these are just all bearish retests of this resistance. You can see previous support becomes resistance. The daily's big. So the daily took a bounce here at 89K. You got to get back above 89,000. You got to get back above the bottom trend line. And then you got to get back above 94K. And then you can rip through the gap all the way back to 112. See how big the gap is? One stop at 101, 112. People don't. The VREP is powerful, man. I never used it as much as I did now until about, I'd say 4 years ago I started using it. So for years I saw things, but man, this thing is just like, you get into these gaps and you will rip through them. So if Bitcoin can see there's a high volume node there, if you bring in all the price action, why is it moving? It just moves on price action. But there's a high volume node and there's a lot of price action right here. See this? And that's on a big time frame with a lot of buys and sells. That's going to produce some type of support there. So Bitcoin digging in hard, but I'm still not buying it too much. Look at the 4 hour. Again, another rejection by the 200 moving average, as someone, I believe, commented there. And look at that. What is that? Like, if anything, it could just be a large double bottom. But even here, it just looks, it's interesting. That looks like a diamond. Almost looks like some type of diamond here, right? It's that's weird, right? Again, the 4 hour looks insane. Look at the 1, 2, 3. That's 3 white soldiers. That's a bullish pattern. And then we pump. Amazing how we bounced last night, right? And you can see it again. My signals on the smaller time frame are just so beautiful. I don't even know what's going to happen on the bigger time frame. Sometimes I'm just, I'll look at them, but I'll just make, okay, the 1 minute's crossing, blah, blah, blah. After, especially if they dump all day, if it dumps from like 1 to 7, and then at 9, 10 o'clock, you cross the 200 moving average on the smaller time frame, that's the reversal. Understand? That's them moving the price to the upside. That's them pushing that thing, pumping that puppy all the way. That's what's going on. It's really hard to trade at this time for me. Do you recommend that I paper trade now from January? Yeah, this time will be very hard for people that do not have a system or a plan. I just do the same thing over and over again. So no matter what, I get stuck in the zone. And I move my stop losses to break even and I go at it. So I just get, I just have a system. If you don't have a system and you're not able to follow a system, if your emotions are stronger than your system, see, that's the thing. First you learn, then you learn a system, then you learn the system, then your emotions are stronger than the system. You try as hard as you want, but you keep doing the same thing sometimes. Even though you know better. You might see things that you know, but you can't trade them, and you're like, wow, that becomes very annoying. It's worse than when you didn't know anything, because at least then you knew. Now you know better, but you still do it anyway. I went through all this. I think and again, I thought about it one day. And I thought about all the stages of trading I went through, and I was like, wow, I could have quit there. I could have quit there. I could have quit there. So you're going to go through so many stages where you may quit. You may want to quit. You may actually quit for a week or two, but it may not be a real quit. You may come back with a vengeance, So it's all about how bad you desire it. I learned in life that if you desire something and it's a true desire and you're truly committed, and committed means like when you go to bed at night, it's on your mind. When you wake up in the morning, it's what you breathe. It's what you love. It's a part of you. Like this show to me is a part of me. I won't give up on it. You guys don't give up on me. And again, I know we talk about it a lot, the show, but it is what it is. It what brought us all together. It's what got it all together in the first place. Like it's, So look, consistent rejection by the 200 moving average on the 4 hour and the 1 hour time frame. It continues to happen every single time we get a bit of a move. And those are some bearish scenarios. And also, like, the more you hit it, the more could you finally break it. Price action looks still pretty ugly. And every time we get a pump, like, there's some type of rejection there. It's so insane. The volatility. What I've learned though, and what I love about my process and what I can teach you is pattern trading. So we use the moving averages, but look, what I do is I say, okay, you broke out, you broke back inside, you're back inside again. So as insane as this is, but I've done this many times in my life and it's played out, I just act as if the pattern is exactly as if it never broke out in the first place. So you erase this whole move out of your mind and you just look at the pattern like this, and it should just break out again. Technically, in there with a stop below this wick, up into some other higher area, should be a win. Technically. And I know that sounds insane, right? It makes no sense but it's logical based on charts. It says, okay, a pattern does this. If price action's in this pattern, we're going to break out. So if you break below here and start hanging out, then that's different. And there is it looks like there's some bearish div here. It doesn't look amazing. I have to be honest with you. It doesn't look good, but we'll see. A big bounce up into 89.3. We're tight. So we started the channel with the pump for Bitcoin. I gave the call in the Discord. The Discord's probably raining on gains already and took the money. And they're usually way riskier than me. So they probably made way more money than I did usually. If I make 1,000, these people are making 5, 4, 2. Some people are smaller too. They're beginners. But man, so this is what we said. It's the model on the 15. Friday volume adds risk. Trade alert. I just took the model on the 15. I showed you where my stop loss would be. I showed you where my target would be. Okay. And you got to put in whatever and again, you're like, well, Sam, you never sold the target. And again, many times I don't. If I'm up 500 to 1,000 on a fast move. Now, if it went up, kind of did its thing, flagged out, did its thing, then we got the move. But that was such a fast move. So I have rules. These are my rules for trading. if I make $500 in under like a minute and a half, you know what I mean? Like that was like let's go over how fast that happened. So I got into the trade somewhere in around here. Let's see, actually, when I took the trade and it says 9:09. Okay. I sold it at 10:18. So I was in for 1 hour. And I made like between the two trades about $800, right? So it's like it's actually a little more, about $1,000 with the other trade. So an hour to make $1,000. I'll take it. You know what I mean? In a fast move, look how fast, and we were so far from and look what happened right after I sold, right? Like, how did Sam know it was going to dump like that? I didn't know it was going to dump, but I will tell you that, and I showed you guys this yesterday. I love that what I teach you. If you just came to my stream for the first time, yesterday you would have watched what we discussed about the 21-day moving average. Also, go watch my videos that I'm pumping out every single day here on the channel. Let me show you. I'm pumping out videos on the channel every single day. One of them is right here. Let me show you what I'm saying. Okay. Check this out. The 21 MA. And I'm showing you what I'm talking about here, but it's slow. It's more condensed. Again, we have 100,003 people here. Subscribers keep coming in. We got to get these numbers up on these videos. Either they don't get out, people don't know about them, or they don't think they're worth it. But I'm telling you right now, this stuff is trading gold on any asset in the world. I don't care if you're Forex. I don't care what you do. If you say, I just want to trade stock market, I'm not into crypto anymore, it doesn't matter. This is the 21 moving average explained you should just, that video is gold. Absolute gold. Absolute gold. So look, you can see this too. Look at this. I mean, see kind of a shoulder, a head, a shoulder, shoulder. Doesn't that look like a head and shoulder pattern to you? So right now I'm not sold on the bigger time frame. I'll be honest. I moved my stop into profit and it sold at probably like $300. I think I was up $900. I'm just not sold yet and going hard on the bigger time frame. This morning it felt like we were going to get a monster move. I wanted that daily candle, but now my mind's telling me, hey, wait for the daily candle to close. But I mean, somewhere down here could have been 87.5 might end up becoming, one of the greatest entries, We'll see. It's very high risk right now. So we're watching this 1 hour time frame, and it's crazy how they pumped and dumped the price right now. And it makes people it definitely messes with people that are, didn't get in or, And again, you're like, well, Sam, that's the model that we teach, right? Away from the 21. So when you get in on a morning trade, and I'm talking, and usually this is what happens on like a Tuesday or a Monday. This is kind of a false move Monday move here. And see, you expect that's the thing about the last 2 weeks of the year. You're going to expect them to be a false move Monday almost every day, which it's going to be tough. I'm telling you right now, the last 2 weeks of the year, and I kept telling everyone this in the trading group, and it stinks because I don't like saying this. You know what I mean? I don't want to like mentally tell people, hey, it's going to be, but I have to be honest with you. Like, look how far the 1 hour was from the 21-day moving average. Every time we get this pump, the 21 doesn't come up with us enough. The 21 has to carry. To get a realistic move, the 21 has to carry. Again, this might go sideways for 5 more hours. That's why patience pays now, and that's why it's great to sell. Like, I'm already up. I tell you what. Have you ever gone to a restaurant really hungry? Who's ever gone to a restaurant really hungry? The other day I did it. Okay. Now, and then you eat too much bread at the beginning. My whole point is once you eat, like you're not, you want everything on the menu when you're hungry, right? But then you have just a beginning of the food, like, or you have a couple appetizers and like, you don't feel the same. You're not as like ready, as ravenous is the word I want to use, right? You're not as ravenous. Same thing, trading is very similar to eating, right? You get this feeling of hunger. You want to make gains, right? They call it juicy gains, like a juicy steak. And you think, okay, I want to get in. I want those juicy gains. And I want to eat, And so like today, I already took some gains. What it does is it satisfies the you're satisfied. The insatiable appetite, right? I have an insatiable appetite. But like, so, and what it does, you're like, okay. So now I can patiently wait to see if the 1 hour is ever going to creep back to the 21 or just dump Probably dump, you know, it looks like it's going to dump down to it because it's so far, but we don't know. I don't know what's going to happen right now. I don't know. I know nothing but the fact of my own ignorance. I am simply just a trader. Today, I took advantage of the 21 above the 200 on the smaller time frames. And when they made a crazy move, like I've seen many times, I sold. I use this strategy all the time. It happens daily, weekly. In the month, it must happen hundreds of times. In the week, it happens 50, 60 times, right? In a day, it could happen 2 to 3 to 4. It depends. Sometimes once or twice. It all depends. Look at today. Let's look at today. Let's look at Wednesday all the way to Friday. If you use the 15-minute and you just bought when we crossed the 200 moving average, like right there, big move, 1, 2, 3 times it played out, right? Since Wednesday, it gave you 3, and that's the 15-minute. Never mind the smaller time frames. Like if we use the 5, maybe it was the same 1, 2, 3 times in about 24 hours. You know what I mean? If you use the 1, you might have gotten it a few more. But the same bigger moves. Look, and they all happened when you crossed the 200 moving average. You see how this worked? Or you got tight on the 200. I'm going to teach you this every single day you come to the stream. I'm going to hammer it into your mind until you get it. You're going to be more efficient in trading than anyone in your life. You're going to understand it. You're going to be able to teach it. You're going to be able to nail it. Take my course for $150, the last one, the last Saturday of the month. Jump on in, the 28th, the Christmas holiday course. Day before my mom's birthday, my gift to you guys, $150. Hit the QR code to jump on in today. Find out more. See what's going on, okay? Take out, it will blow your mind. Anyway, I'm going to give you my tip, tricks, and secrets. I'm going to leave you with a PowerPoint. I'm going to show you why I get into what trades and how. And I use it to lev trade. I use it to swing trade. I use it for long-term trading. I use it for, if I'm in gold, I use it for silver. I use it for Tesla. I use it for Bitcoin. Forex, you name it, New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen. It doesn't matter what you're into. These strategies are tried and true and have been tested on multiple assets around the world, on multiple time zones, in multiple different exchanges, even in different exchanges. Like you're talking Toronto Stock Exchange, New York Stock Exchange, Chinese, this stuff works. It's the way humans trade. It can be tracked by these moving averages. It's unbelievable. That looks like a giant shoulder, head, shoulder. I would be off price action for the day. It looks pretty nasty to me. Looks like people were long and short, and you could tell, like, everyone went long 100x on the flag. But my stop loss was deeper than theirs, you see? They got bagged on the 1 minute, or they were trading too small time frame, right? And then boom. And then I guess, I don't know, the shoulder, head, right shoulder, I guess they got everyone to short that. When they went up and down, they got a bunch of people to bite, and they took stop losses here. So they went down hard, got people to short, went up and got those stop losses, right? They started the thing, got people to long, went down and got the longs, got people to short thinking this was dumping really hard. Right? Ran up and got them. Then longs jumped back inside the pattern thinking they could put their stop losses inside because it broke out. Went and got them. Okay. And then all the stops that still stayed in went and snatched every one of them. And then came down again. So now that you're here at the bottom of the pattern, right? There's got to be stops here. It's like crazy. And you could see it's just like it's stop hunt nation on low time frame, on a low volume holiday trading. Holiday trading's horrible. You're like, but Sam, you made $1,000. Everything looked great for you. Yes, it was. I got to tell you, when I tell you trading's horrible, it doesn't mean we can't make money. It just means that trading's not going to be the same. Like, we can't do the same stuff. We should be in and out. We should trade way less. And once we make a gain, we should be a lot happier. And like $500 in this market is like $5,000. You know what I mean? You should take a smaller gain as a bigger gain right now. Again, repeat after me. What I just did today, I came out profitable today trading, right? Boom. I went in last night, was up. I ended up selling my trade. I made another trade this morning. Both of them played out. I was able to sell my trade in front of you today on the live. It worked out great, right? It was fun. Another one of those times where I chased the stop loss to the upside. Look, that is the head and shoulder pattern breaking down. You see it, right? It's a shoulder, head, shoulder. Another nice Christmas tree present. Amazing, right? That says you'll go back to 86.6. Just love these spikes. Look at these. It just, the catalyst. And again, the tight, look, shoulder, head, right shoulder. The cup and handle, Sammy cup and handy, tight moving averages. Okay? The oversold stochastics RSI. Look at this. When I show you something here, look, we're going to circle that and we're going to zoom in there. Do you see that? But I see from far away, it looked like to me like it was an Adam and Eve on the stochastics RSI. And you can see it. You see the Adam and Eve there? I mean, it's amazing, right? This stuff will just come at you. You'll start seeing it. It's unbelievable. I love it. I love technical analysis. It keeps me in control and the most crazy. You know, I'll tell myself that the market's horrible. I can't, impossible to trade. It's manipulation. Then I'll go in and make $1,000 and walk away. It's like, how would you do that then? Like, I don't even understand it. You get it? My mind won't get it because my mind's logical. My mind's emotional like a human. And I still get swayed by like the way I talk to myself. Like, the legends of TA come out of nowhere and then just tell me what to do. It's like, what? Like, you have to understand, you still feel the same feelings, but because you've changed your mind, you don't do the same things anymore. It's really strange. I can't explain how technical analysis changes your thought process, but for me, it was a relief because, I had all those, I don't know, they try to label you, right? ADHD, and, I think it's really, we just have excessive mind power, man, and there's got to be a way to label it because they don't want, they don't want us taking over, so I don't know what it is, but, because a lot of people probably have what I have, that's why you can listen to me for 2 hours a day like this, you know what I mean? Because your mind is fast. And you like a fast mind, you like to kind of move with the way this stream moves. It really brings in a certain niche type of person, man. And that's why I love the stream. And I love everybody here because we're the lifers. And I appreciate each and every one of you. All right. God bless everyone on the live. You're addicted to what you love, Sam, and it's A-OK. Amen. Howdy from Susan, California. Sui-san. That sounds cool, man. Yeah. Shout out to Luke Pitwalker. I like that. BTC is a shock. Memes and minnows. Amen. Hey. Big fact, Sam. Shout out to Alex Smart. Shout out to the Stanton 90. If you ain't fast, you last, baby. Amen. Virtual moving. Yeah. And shout out to everyone here. My name is Sam Price, the Crypto Lifer. Thank you for being here. So nice to meet you. I appreciate you for jumping on in. You make the stream. If you want me to go over a coin, send in a super chat, a deep dive. Let me jump into those right now and see if there's anything lingering that I'm missing on the stream. All right, look at this. John Shanks. John, we love you, man. You've been a lifer for a long time. Thank you for becoming an exclusive lifer. You didn't have to do that. Crypto Jimbo did as well. Zcash, right as you said. What's next for Zcash? Let's take a look at Zcash. I see the model on PAX G4 Hour. Yes, it is. Looks good to me. Can you give the update on ICNT? Thank you. Sell Flowers, you're awesome for giving us that and letting us look at that. Sell when far from the 21. Sammy taught us. Amen. Vetty Goat. Just tell yourself this every day till it hammers in. Shout out to Dude Tang, a member for 20 months. Sam, you the man. God bless you. Look at this. Look at the amazing good energy that we bring here on this channel. God bless you all for doing this. Really nice people. Let's take a look at Zcash, PAX G, which is also just gold, and ICNT, as we're attempting to get a weird bounce here, but it just looks bearish to me. Looks like a Bart Simpson with a spike to the upside. Just going to roll us over back to this area, or they're going to bounce us and continue to pump it. The daily looks good. So the small time frames are kind of just a nuisance right now. The daily looks interesting. We'll go with that. We got to reclaim the 3-day 200. There's certain things that have to happen for us to really be bullish, though. If anything, it looks like a whipsaw, you know. Let's take a look at Zek. Zeki. I mean, it dolphin dipped, though, for the stop loss, but it did hit the target at 434. But I can't claim like a clean, usually I claim a beautiful clean trade. I mean, for there, look, I mean, it definitely dipped. It did kind of like a double bottom here, and then it ripped to the upside. So they went after they stop hunted it. Again, I didn't trade this because I don't ever have good luck with Zcash or even altcoins in general. Like they would have got me for whatever I traded on Lev. Now, the previous resistance as support, that is a pretty smart idea. So you could say, okay, if price comes to retest this resistance, I might get in. I'm learning that the retest is really the key to it all, you know. But fine, it did hit the target. I'm just not going to take full on credit. What I do see here, though, is look at this. I mean, a shoulder, a head, a right shoulder. Wow. And there's your measured move, and you do hit it. So, I mean, that's pretty interesting. Let's take a look if there's any more to come here out of Zcash. And I appreciate you giving me some credit there, but I gotta pull the credit away from me. And you know, I guess I can only take credit when I feel like it's perfect, and that just not. It wasn't perfect. Hey, I hit the target, but the trade itself would have been a doozy, right? So, hey, it is what it is. Like, let's just be honest. So, looking at this here now, we're in a bit of, I don't know, a symmetrical triangle. It seems getting very tight, like very tight. See if this thing can break out all the way to, I don't know, 515. Maybe further down here to, like, you know, it's kind of a symmetrical triangle, right? But it broke out already. So that's like, you know, you got that. That's done. I'm just trying to see, like, where it kind of, you know what? See, there's a cup and handle there, right? It's pretty interesting. It's a higher low. And so then what I start doing is I start drawing trend lines, you know. To me, that's pretty sweet. It's pretty hot on the trend line there. And you kind of see how that hit off a hidden bullish divergence too. And that's a higher low now. That's very interesting. Like on a bigger scale, this tells me that Zcash might be ready. I got to zoom out here and look at it on the weekly, the 3-day. You know, came pretty close to the 21 on the weekly, which is a major retracement. So there's hidden bullish here too. That swings up while that swings down, and this is oversold. What hidden bullish tells you is that the bulls did everything, the bears did everything they could, and that's it. Like, they've gotten exhausted as they can. They've reset a new low. You'll get a tweezer bottom. You'll get a Fibonacci. So look at this. This is textbook hidden bullish divergence. If we don't take out the new high, the high here, I'd be surprised. Which tells me that Bitcoin would have to pump again, because this ain't going to happen unless Bitcoin pumps. So it's like there's these like little, you know, and this is how I figured out. I've done like sleuthing before, meaning I've looked at like hundreds of coins. Somehow I was able to kind of get a gist of like, well, this doesn't make sense unless we get the pump. Now, fine, maybe it hits a double top and we're done and we cook. It could happen, and I'm open-minded to anything. But, I mean, this is hidden bullish. You bounce out the 786. You're now in the golden pocket. This is giving me retracement, heavy retracement vibes. It already retraced. I mean, it already went from 300 to 430. Nice move. So, now you're like, okay. And previous resistance is now support. And, you know, Bitcoin looking very interesting, right? 87.8 now, though. We take a look here. Funny, I let that one go. I usually turn that one off. I let that one go. It's funny, we're right back to the same trade, which is really interesting because, like, I remember one day, a couple times, it's only been like 4 or 5 times, I remember, like on a morning, but I've traded and then I made the exact same trade again. Like, I was like, okay, you're going to give me, I mean, it's the same. Technically, I'm a bot and it's giving me the same signal. I'm going to set it up. I don't know. I don't believe I'll trade, but 9 to, I always say that, right? Almost 90% of the time I take the trade. 86498. So we already banked, so there's no reason to go too hard. Remember that, especially on a Friday. And I'm not like about it, but technically what I've learned, and you know, is broken patterns react the same as if they were the same pattern. So if I believe that was going to pump 30 to an hour ago and I got it on that green candle, then I should get on the same candle here. Same thing should happen. That was just a fluke accident. At the same time, I mean, it doesn't, you know, it doesn't feel amazing. And the one thing I don't love is this rejection by the 200 moving average over and over again. But where are you going to go? Like, you seem to have some support here too. Look, resistance, resistance, resistance. A lot of resistance right there at 87.8, and you're kind of right on the line. There's some support here. Price is getting crunched. Another thing is, see how the 1 hour's between the smooth? That should be the smooth and the 200. That's interesting. That's a tightness too. Or the 20. No, that should be the 21, right? Just the 21. Well, whenever I've seen price between the 21 and the 200 too, that's like a Bollinger Band type of effect. I've seen a big move come from that. So there's like this vibe for me to want to get back in the same exact trade yet again on the 15-minute, because it's doing the same thing. It's touching it's near the 21. It's in a flag. It's above the 200. It reset on the stochastics to oversold again, and it's still inside the support and resistance bounds. It's a very, this is a very, like, to go back inside that, up and down and then get back in. They've also cleared the air, right? They've kind of shattered everyone. Who else goes in now means you were a sound trader. The emotional traders have been wrecked, and the people that were heavy in risk are obliterated. So the only people right now that should be in the trade are either that are coming at it logically are smart money or people that have made money already today. There are revenge traders that are just going to chuck money into this, right? So, and revenge traders. But, who was the last person to get liquidated? The shorts up here, right? Bring. I mean, late longs down into the pattern as well. Because you have to remember, every time you break a pattern, there's people that say, I'll just move my stop loss into the pattern. I'll be okay. The key is to keep your stop where it is until break even. The key is to know what you're doing and execute. Like, I know, you got to be ready. It's like a horse, a new horse. It's funny. Trading the 1 minute, it's like having a horse. And what do you mean by that? It's like, you ever see when they have to train a new horse, a young one? It comes right into the pen and it starts to move around. Like, they got to put the lasso right on it and get it going and you got to manage it quick. You only have a few seconds to get that thing and then you just get out of control. But you want to start the process early, right? You want to handle it. So and then same thing with a small time frame, you really want to know exactly what you're going to be doing. You want to lasso the trade, hold on, you know what I mean? You want to nail it. You don't want to be guessing. It's just not going to be, So look, they're 291, 145 for 469. I don't know. It's high risk at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if they rip this puppy right back to the upside, back to 92K though. We got 90,000 here on the board still. That's the closest level we're going to. It's only $2,000 away. Bitcoin's been ripping through $2,000 easily recently. That's been it's like chewing gum for Bitcoin. So we'll see. Also looks like it may just be making one of these here. A shoulder, a head, or a right shoulder and taking us down. Think about it. If you already made money today, it's probably silly to go back in the market. But that's why my trade is so strange. And that's why I've seen this stuff play out. Because it's so against normal thought process. But it makes perfect sense to trading. You're back in the pattern again. Trade the pattern the same way. Like a bot would do it without thinking. The human in me is thinking, but maybe I should less thought and more movement, right? I'll risk a little under half, all right? I'll make the trade just because this is I've done this many times and it has played out. High risk though, and almost dumb to do on low risk Friday. My mind thinks this is foolish and dumb, but the logic of it says it could play out. I'm just taking the same exact stuff that I always take, the same type of sauce, the same type of model. We'll see. The king of 3%. Show me 3%, right? Show me 3%. There you go. No one makes 3% more than me over here. Hey. So we'll see what happens. I just made a live trade again in the flag on the 15-minute as it's touching the 21 above the 200 with low stochastics, which to me is a known buy signal. Despite us having pumped and dumped already this morning, just kind of doing what I do, which is taking the same signal over and over again. Does that make sense, even though it seems insane? Okay. I didn't completely finish Zcash here, so let's take a look. 3-day chart looks good with a higher low. That thing could start to really moon, and it's oversold. That looks good to me. The daily's in a cup and handle, and it had a flag at previous support or resistance. That's next target's around the $600 level. Might have some resistance at 511 there. That's interesting. I don't like chasing Zcash to me because it has too many eyes on it and it could be used to kind of rug the masses a lot. So I feel like it's but hey, if the 8 hour stays above the 200 and can pull the 21 with it, That's some sauce, you know? So a possible trade using the 200 or the 21 there, I like, you know, I'm watching that 8 hour. The 6 hour, it's got room to go up. The 1 hour. So look at the 1 hour on Zcash. It's going to do one of a couple things. It's either going to continue to pump right now or flag out. It looks bullish to me. I'd watch the 1 hour very closely on Zcash. That's my signal there, and the signal's strong on the 1 hours with your support and resistance. And look how it broke out of an inverted head and shoulder. I mean, perfectly. You see that? And then it even made a flag there, like an ascending triangle, and broke out of that. So Zcash looks bullish. It looks very bullish. Looks like it's headed to $500. Is, you know, I could be wrong. No, you know, I could be wrong, but it looks pretty good to me. Let's take a look at PAXG. Is basically just a gold chart, so I'm just going to use gold. PAXG is gold, same thing. And gold just looks bullish to me. And even look at this little flag for gold. I mean, it's in a tiny little ascending triangle. That looks like it's going to break out sooner than later. So if gold, one of two things for gold, it either is in a smaller break, see like this, I mean a bigger move, and it comes down a little bit and it gets tight, even that's great. Or it's like, it's basically at its peak, about to break out here. It's about to get a, you know, I mean, it's in a flag there on the 1 hour. Remember, we got into gold around, what, 489, $4,089, around this area here. And that trade is still ripping to the upside. Gold doing beautifully, right? It's up 42%, $800. The Tesla trade up 200%. We're just going to hold these. I'm showing you, these are long-term trades. You could turn $2,000 into $10,000, $9,000. Maybe we go up all the way to the target, 11,000. Yeah, $2,000 to 11,000 if we hit 5,400, 5,480. So we'll see. One step at a time, one day at a time. But it takes patience to make gains. All right, everyone wants to make fast money, but how about just actually learning how to hold a trade with patience, how to swing trade. Swing trading is Mike. This is how I made money, swing trading. Look, I took $1,800 to make $800. It could take 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It'd take a month. It could take 3 months to turn this into 11,000. Think about it. That's 4,000 a month. A little under. I mean, that's amazing. I used to make $8,000 a month. Like, you know, I put things into perspective from where I used to be. Everyone thinks they have to make tons of money. You just have to not lose money. And think about it. You have multiple pockets running. I got a bot running. I got this running. I got that running. I'm trading over here. I'm doing that over there. Like, you got some rental property. You know, you basically diversify the income. You get it coming from many different places. And there's no reason to over risk in spots that are going to add stress to your life. You know, look at the trade. It's actually ripping. It actually might just go right back to the upside. You'd be surprised. I've seen this happen many times because it's illogical. It doesn't make sense. But it makes sense to the charts. The charts tell you the probability, and it's still the same. You get what I'm saying? You're still touching the 21 above the 200. Like a bot will just do whatever the bot does. Like if someone just turned a bot off during here, but they turned it back on, it's going to see that the same way. And the bots, I believe, is going to react the same way. I mean, I could be wrong, but to me, it's, yeah. And look, we might just be in chop and we could dumb. It doesn't look amazing, but hey, let's see what happens. Let's give it its hour here on the show. Okay, let's take a look at ICNT. That was a great call. Then we looked at it. It actually ripped to the upside unbelievably. Impossible CloudNet. Okay. Wow, this thing did unbelievable things. So you gave like a call of the century. 100% gains. And we called it here with a very small stop too, like very little risk. Look, that would be at a 19-to-1 risk reward ratio. You know, again, we didn't know it was going to moon like that. I just figured the top of the channel. But wow, that's insane. And so we saw this thing, talked about it at 29 cents here on the channel. It went all the way to 59 cents. It's still sitting at 52 and it's doing impossible things, impossible cloud network. Now, to me, it's a little high risk at this point, right? I mean, it's new. We're not sure exactly what the market's doing. But this is setting precedent. And what you want to do is you want to be like, well, what is this? Is there anything like it? And, you know, Coinbase does a pretty good job of like giving you projects that may be similar and you can kind of build off that. This is a very small market cap too, 90 million. I mean, that's tiny, right? So anything can happen there. You can see even the volume is very small for me. Like Mexi, that's probably too much. That's very small. Okay. But this thing could build, right? I mean, it could 10x to 900 million. Decentralized infrastructure protocol that provides enterprise-grade cloud servicing, integrated storage, compute, and networking through a community-owned network. It serves as a foundational layer for high-demand digital app. I mean, it sounds great. When I hear community-owned, though, I think of like all the voting for Cardano's that took time, and it never seems to work too well. Like everyone's working, you got to vote, this and that. I'm not hating. I'm just being honest about every decentralized network I've ever seen has its bottlenecks because they're waiting on everybody to vote on the same. You know what I mean? We saw it with other decentralized networks. It's like there's always seems to be a holdback with the fact because you have to have all these people voting the same thing, and then eventually what you'll have is you can get voting governance, right? And so people just buy more nodes, they get more governance, and then they become the owners of the nodes, and then the node owners end up voting the chain, and then it just becomes uncentralized anyway. You know what I mean? Or centralized. I mean, it's funny, right? It's interesting. And people say that about Bitcoin. Well, if all the big boys mine Bitcoin and, like look at Michael Saylor now is 3% of the total supply. Like, but he said he's going to, I don't know. He said he's going to, when he passes, he's going to keep his Bitcoin. I mean, he's never disclosed how much he himself owns though. Does that also mean the company's Bitcoin? We don't know there. 20% on the trade. Amazing, right? And again, no greed. Like, wow, I didn't need to make any more today. If it rips to 92, great. I'll be happy. That's another thing about holding long-term Bitcoin and having a bot running. You always have some firepower in the background. Like I always have the bot running and I always have my long-term BTC stash. And so if there's a big run-up one day, I'm always like, my stash is back up nice. Or the bot is closer to taking massive profits. And things are running smooth. So when you have multiple streams running, you're not as crazy when when I only had one trade option. Like maybe say I was trading one account and I missed a trade or something. I believe there was more FOMO for me. I've learned for me and maybe for you, I had FOMO. I did, man. And emotions took over a lot. And so one day I opened 2 exchanges and I said, man, and one day I actually used the BTC USD and the USDT account right on MEXC. And then one day I opened 2 exchanges. Like I had weeks in MEXC going and I made a bigger trade on the daily on MEXC. Yeah, and it was like, 2,000 for 6,000 or 3,000 for 9. And I made a smaller trade, like, 300 for 9 or 250 for 750 on weeks. And the move would move and we get the big pump and I'd move my stop loss on the weeks and I could easily just take my stop loss and sell the week's trade, knowing that I had the other trade open. For some reason, having the bigger trade open made it easier for me to swing. And I got into the mix. It's funny. That's how I slowly beat down my ability to, because everyone has a problem selling. For me, I had a problem selling. Like I couldn't sell like I showed you guys today. I had a problem selling. I think most people do, like because it's very hard to get in. And once they make a good entry, even when it's scalping lev, whatever it is, they feel like they're never going to get that entry again. And that's believing FOMO. That's believing doubt in your mind. I'm not that good at trading. I finally got an entry. I'll probably never get that entry today again. What if it keeps pumping without me? There's two thoughts of fear there. One, you think you're never going to get in again. So that's fear. You have to identify when you're making a thought, whether it's positioned in love, fear, confident, where you're going. You have to know you're not going to feel fear like it's the movie. Like the guy's not going to be behind a shadow in the closet. You see what I mean? It's going to be a subtle sense of fear that you don't recognize. See, that's what people don't realize. I kept going to work. I knew I was smart. I knew I should entrepreneur, but I kept going to work. Why? Because I was afraid that my ideas wouldn't work. I didn't say it out loud, but every day I got back on the train, I was telling the universe that I was in fear because why wouldn't I start my own company? I said, next year I'll do it when I'm ready. I'm not ready yet. Then I listened to Jim Rohn and he kept saying to me, you're never going to be ready. He said, you know what people say that say I'm going to do it when I'm ready? You know what those people do? He's like, those are the people that never do it. Jim Rohn scared the bejesus out of me. He talked to me in a way where he was like, Sam, this is what he said to me. And maybe I'll be talking to you and I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but this is what he said to me. So I'm alone learning how to trade. I'm working a night shift. I sit in my apartment all day, most of the day, I go on bike rides. I get exercise. I work out. I do my thing. But for the most part, I'm there just on the computer. I'm a nervous wreck. I'm trying to figure out how to get out of this apartment. My wife has a kid coming. I'm 31 years old. Like, I believe I'm investing. I've been learning trading since I was, 23, 22, really on and off. But now I've been trading now for about 8 years. I've been taking TA somewhat more seriously since I was 28. So now I have 3 years of TA in my sidelines and 5 years of buying and selling stuff. But I still, and I don't know if you were me, but I was 31 years old, 1-bedroom apartment, working a night shift, wondering where my life was going to go. Isn't that amazing? Like when I think back, like what was going to happen to me? Like I didn't know. I had dreams and hopes, but it started to look glim. It didn't look like it was going to happen for me. Like when I was 21, 22, I had these dreams and hopes. And I had a long talk with God too. And I said, God, man, I don't know if I can handle it. Like, I don't know. I can't explain it. I really broke down to God, and like, some people will call it a coincidence. And some say, well, Sam, you just worked so hard. You made it happen. I don't know, man. It happened in front of everybody here. I still don't understand. But the point of the story is I'm 31 years old, working that night shift, just believing that something different could happen to me. And I'm making a lot of mistakes too, that everybody makes, but one thing I did is I believed that they were going to print money to zero. And I believed that Bitcoin was going to continue to have. And I kept those two beliefs close to my heart. And no matter how many times the market went up or the market went down, or there was all these other things, or some coins did 100Xs and 50Xs, and there was all these flashy little altcoins that looked more appealing. And I felt like I missed out, and some people would post massive gains. You never know if they're real or not. Maybe, I'm not saying they're all fake. Some people really make massive gains, and they post them. Some people use, clickbait. You never know. It's hard to tell. The point is, I stuck to one thing for a long period of time, which was BTC. And that ended up like paving the way for many other things in my life. And I didn't ever had all the answers. And I never knew exactly what was going to happen. Jim Rohn and thank God I found Jim Rohn online. And so by the curiosity to change my life, I started typing in like, mentor. I think I typed in like mentor, mental health, like something. I typed in something. I was having a nervous breakdown, man. I was sitting in my apartment every day. I was getting older and older, and I didn't know how I was going to get out of it. And I saw, I was making 80 to 90 grand a year, but I was working my butt off. I could get to like 110, maybe 120 with a lot of overtime, which means I never saw my family and I had to work during the weekends. You know what I mean? So after working the night shift, so I'd be home alone all day. Then my wife would come home, with the kid at like, 4 o'clock, because they went to school together. And they'd come home and I'd hang out with them for like an hour to two, from like 4 to 6:30, so 3 hours. And then I'd have to go to work. And then I'd wake up the next morning. They would wake up before me at like 5:45 in the morning and have to go to school. Before I was taking my daughter to a daycare, and like whenever I dropped her off at the daycare, it destroyed my heart, man. I don't know why. Like I was a softie, bro, with my kids. Like, and the main reason I had to make money, I swear to everyone here on this channel, I think a lot of people get rich for many reasons. I got rich because I was like I kind of an emotionally soft guy when it comes to my kids. And every time I dropped them off with someone else, like it buried me. And I said, I want to make so much money that my wife never has to work and she can be with my kids, man. Like I said, the one person that should be with the kids is their mom. I said, look at a tribe. Like if we grew up in a tribe and we lived in like a little village, I said my wife would stay with the kids all the time. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be a question. Like she wouldn't go like take these like an hour walk away somewhere and spend 8 hours away and then come back to her kids while she gave someone else her children. So I literally prayed to God, like, can you keep my family together? And I think those are my prayers. Like, and I believe my prayers got answered in a different way. Like, I guess, the business, everything else in my life took off. Bitcoin took off. But it all came from the idea that I wanted my wife to be with my children. You know what I mean? Like, can my wife please be with my kids? Like, so they don't have to be at daycare. Dropping my first kid off at daycare buried me, man. Yeah. Sam, I'm not sure if you're going to see this, but I want to say thank you for your story. It impresses me to believe in myself. It inspires me. I made lots of money and lost it multiple times. This time I won't. You have my word, man. Hey, man, it's up to you, brother. Taught me discipline. I will forever be grateful. God bless you. You taught yourself discipline. You just found me. Like, I found Jim Rohn, and I give everything to Jim Rohn. I really do. I'm like, man, thank you, God. But in the end of the day, too, like, I took his strategies and what he told me, and I put them to work. If you didn't put what I taught you to work, you'd be in the same place. So yeah, I mean, I love that you give me some credit for your success, and I'll love to take some. But we both know that all I did was light a candle for you. You're the one that kept it lit in the midst of a rainstorm, in the midst of the wind. You know, I couldn't do that for you. You did that for yourself, and everybody here. You know, anyone that has a good P&L, everyone that fought through a liquidation event, everyone that kept pushing mentally. Look, I just saw this. And you want to sit here and talk with me. Why? Because when I sit here and talk with each and every one of you, I channel TA. And it's almost like when we get philosophical, the math part of my brain seeps in through the back end. I'm starting to see things differently. Next thing you know, I get an inkling of something that I didn't see before. Like this ascending kind of triangle here that may actually pump. Look now, see, this is a bigger trade. See, the bigger the trade, the better. Remember the other day I talked about enveloping a trade? And I didn't get to fully elaborate on what I was saying. But what I mean is sometimes I'll see a trade on let's just say the 1 minute. And this works when you have like price action working in your favor too, though. All right. A lot better. But it's when price action is working in your favor, but you don't want to get stomped out by a foolish move. This is what I do. All right. And you do whatever makes you happy. So let's just say price gets above the 15-minute 200 moving average, like we are now. Okay. And so and then you're flagging out. You want to see that you're above at least the 15. Then you also get above, let's say, the 1 hour. And you see the signal on the 1 minute. You get above the 1 minute 200 and the 21 touches. So this is the 1 minute right now. You stick with me, right? Everyone's still with me? So you're watching the 1 minute 200 moving average. And the 21, and you see how it's touching, right? Light, what about going short? Thank you, blessings. Maybe. I mean, it's got no one paying attention, so, right? So what I do is, and I really want to scalp the 1 minute. It looks amazing to me. But it's a low volume Friday or something like that, right? So I'll zoom out to the 15 and say the 1 minute's in there, and I'll just make the trade way bigger like this. Now, if the 1 minute breaks out and we hit the target, sometimes I'll sell, and it will just be a smaller move in the 15 minute. And maybe I make less money, and I have a deeper stop loss. I put less in the trade. So instead of going harder on the smaller time frame, you see, I envelop this trade by putting a bigger trade on over it, knowing that because now they can stop out the 5 minute and the 1 minute traders all day long, and there's a good chance. And I'm humbler, so what I've learned, it's called humble trading. Because think about it, if 1% of the world is the top 1% has most of the money, that means that 99% of people fail with discipline, right? That's all it means. And then they say more than half of the billionaires in the world are self-made. You can look this up. They weren't born with money. So that means that the richest people, half of some of the richest people in the world came from nothing. So it means that, again, a lot of people did have an edge. You can't say that, they get born with it and they're just born into it. They inherit it. But still, do they have the skill and all that? Probably not, but it doesn't matter. The point is, believe that you too can become a billionaire, number one. That's the first thing you have to get out of your mind, that there's no way you can get to the upper echelons. You can't. Many people poorer than me and you have. Some of the poorest people here, or come from I don't want to say even poorest, but people come from the most impoverished places, or places where it's like, if you come from a third world country where the money is different, where your money is like very devalued compared to the dollar, like definitely more difficult, but it doesn't mean it can't be accomplished. Anything you put your mind to in this universe and world can be accomplished. Just keep telling yourself that. If you don't believe that, then you're not in control. Then you can just give up on the fact that you were in control. Like, see, you have two options. One that you're in control and one that you're not. It's up to you. It's completely up to you. If you believe you're not in control, then you're not. I am not in control of my destiny. My thoughts don't produce my reality. Okay? You could say that. I don't even like saying that out loud, even as a joke, because to me, it's like, it's against my whole worldly belief system, But you start talking like that, then that's kind of how it's going to happen. But how you're like, no, my thoughts do create my reality. What I think about is where I go. The more I think positive, the more positive altercations and interactions I'll have. The more I push myself, the more the universe will push for me. The more I help others, the more others will help me. The more I sow, the more I will. The more I see, the more the more I will grow. Like, and what Jim Rohn taught me is that your mind, your subconscious mind, is just like soil, a garden. And you can plant whatever you want in it. You can plant weeds and you can plant beautiful flowers. And you got to sometimes tend to the weeds. You got to go into your thought process and clean out the negative thoughts so you can have room for positive ones. You can't let negative thoughts continue to grow. I did this for years, friends. Like, I got into a comfort zone. I had kind of an obsessive mind that would go, see, my mind is great, but it'll go on whatever I give it. And it'll obsess into it. So I'll be whatever I give it. If I give it TA, it's going to obsess on it. If I give it work ethic and business, it's going to obsess on it. If I give it drugs and alcohol, it's going to obsess on it. If I give it, sex and promiscuity, it's going to obsess on it. Whatever, and maybe that's all of the human mind, but I found mine was treachery, right? And it's funny, I watched, Russell Crowe this morning, of course, funny, but he said, I'm not into Hollywood anymore. I've left Hollywood. I'm done. And he said, because I'm susceptible. He said, I'm not a saved person. I'm not special. You know what I mean? He's like, I'm actually a broken person that without Jesus will definitely go to the wrong places. He says, I can't be around that stuff. If I'm around it, it's going to bring me in. He basically admitted he was weak and that without Jesus, that he would fall suit to things that, so he had to leave Hollywood because if he was around it, he was going to do it. He was going to be involved in, we don't even have to mention it, but just whatever they do, wildest fantasies, just answer, never know, parties till the end, you know what I mean? And deep inside, the devil whispers to you, oh yeah, you all want to, but you don't want that. You want a beautiful family, you want a wife, you want kids, you want to be home early with your family. You don't want to be out all night. That's not where you want to be, right? That doesn't make the society strong when the man's out all night. Like, it's not, you get what I'm saying? Anyway, I had to come to these realities by myself. Like, there's years I wanted to be a party animal. Oh, I'll get married when I'm 35 and all this. Like, I had a skewed version of reality. Now I've got 3 kids and I should have 10. I started way too late. I have a baby right now and I'm 40, coming up on 43 years old. I have a 1.5-year-old child. So my one advice to the men out there and to the women, really everyone out there, is have kids as soon as you can. Seriously. Have kids as soon as you can, man, and have more kids than you thought. And don't be afraid, Don't be afraid. I was afraid to have children. I thought when I had kids, it would ruin my life. I thought they'd be too expensive. I couldn't handle it, and it wasn't going to work. So I was afraid. I lived in fear. Isn't that crazy? I wasn't a real man, man. I was afraid to procreate because I didn't have enough money. Because I thought it would make me broke if I had too many kids that I couldn't afford. I saw people on welfare having so many kids. I didn't want to be that guy. I didn't want to be sucking off society. I wanted to make sure that I was financially strong. I eventually had a kid when I was in a 1-bedroom apartment, still working my night shift, and somehow, some way, I got onto a union. Everything kind of worked for me. I don't know how it happened. It's as if God opened the gates the second that kid was born, and things started to happen for me. And each time I had another kid, gates were opened. I'm telling you right now, every time I had a child, another gate was open in some way, shape, or form. These children brought their own wealth into my life. I should never have lived in fear. I should have been so open that the universe was going to open up for me. And I should have been ready to create because I was creating. Don't you think the universe is going to bless you if you create, especially from a clean heart? And you're going to raise your kids as best you can? Man, they're going to see that you're opening up. I listened to a sermon the other day in the car, and I'm not, and again, we're watching this tight flag here for Bitcoin. It looks like in the next 4 to 5 hours, we're going to find out what Bitcoin does. It's either going to break down or break out. And literally, I'd say by, look at that, 2:45 or by 11 tonight. Is that 8? No, by 11, by 2 o'clock this afternoon. I mean, look at that. By 3 o'clock this afternoon. By 1500, I would be surprised if Bitcoin doesn't find its way. Now, it's tight above the 200 after a bunch of nonsense. I mean, that tells me we should be getting a move back up to 93,000. I could be completely wrong, but it looks bullish to me. The daily candle's starting to look better. And we're kind of starting to, to stay calm here. 21's pushing up. That's what we want to see. I might add to this trade. It's up, look, 20%. It's crazy, right? Again, sometimes I make trades just to see if I'm right or wrong. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? Just keep my hands going. I wish I had kids younger. I only have one. He's awesome. Exactly. I had the same. I was broke when I had my first child. A huge door opened for me that set me up until this day. Look at that. So I'm not the only one, right? I'm preaching realness right now. So people hold back thinking that things are going to stop. But look, that's scarce mentality. I realized that every time I was doing something, my thoughts and actions were connected to fear or love. Love is abundance. Love is continuation. Love is progression. And fear is like, going to eat you alive. And I still make mistakes. I'm not perfect. Sometimes I do things I should never do. I'm sure of that. And I got to learn every time, right? It's sad. I wish I was perfect, but it's just not. It's not. That's also unrealistic to think, but so. I had my first kid at 21. I'm 31 now with 3 kids. Oldest is 9. Yeah, you're strong. Believe in the universe. God makes sound like a true one. I can see that. You'll become one down the road. Just a matter of time. Interesting. What sermon? What was the sermon I was talking? Oh, yeah. The sermon. Sorry. And he was talking about how people live in fear. Same kind of idea. And how they're worried they're not going to have enough. Right? And he said, look outside and look at the bird. Like a tiny bird. Some of them are really small, right? They're they can fit in my hand. And with the big wind and the strong rain and hurricanes and all this, and some birds don't make it, I get it. But in general, you can see a lot of tiny birds. They're thriving and living, they're eating. And he says every day those birds wake up and every day God feeds those birds. Those tiny little birds. He said, look at you. Look how big and strong you are compared to that bird. He said, if God can take care of that tiny, fragile bird, sure enough, God can take care of you, man. Have faith that you're part of everything in this universe. You know what I mean? And just as that bird gets fed, you'll get fed as well, man. It doesn't mean do nothing and just wait for your food. That bird fights every day. He puts in the work. He meets God halfway, right? And it says, God helps those who help themselves. Old Irish saying that was mentioned many times to me growing up, right? If you ever been hunted, it'll create fear. But yeah. BTC get a new time. Not 4 years I go broken. I brought my daughter a car 2 weeks ago and she haven't taken me for a spin yet. You're funny. I'd be like, the first thing she got to do is take me to Five Guys. So we're looking for this to pump, man. I'm looking for Bitcoin to break out. I'm looking for a little parabola here. That's just what price action's telling me after being suppressed for so long. And everyone thought the Bank of Japan was going to crush us and all this craziness. You know what I mean? Just absolutely absurdity. The BOJ can kiss my booty. I woke up this morning like, man, forget the BOJ, man. The Bank of Japan, man. Give a dang. So look, BOJ press conference. BOJ policy. So they raised the rates like we knew they would. It was a nothing burger, man. Everyone said Bitcoin was going to crash. I was like, come on, man. And I told you to watch the NQ of the S&P do damage, and nobody believed me. I called the bottom for the S&P and the NASDAQ, man. It's so crazy. However, I don't even need the credit, but it's so insane. 2 of the biggest world markets in the world where everyone was freaking out. I calmly suggested we were going to bounce on November 21st. I don't know if you remember. We can play the tape back. I said I would long this and Bitcoin. And I said, look for this to get tight and break out. I said, I see the NASDAQ breaking out. I said, I see the S&P pumping. And everyone said like it was the end of times. It was the end of times. It was the blurst of times. Look at the S&P. It's about to make a move here. Again, like my long-term calls in the S&P have been amazing. It looks like the money printer about to go brrr. Stop loss below the POC. 66694. Target 7681. Long-term trade on the S&P. Shoulder, right shoulder, head right shoulder. Cup and handy. Oversold stochastic. Lack of bearish momentum of the MACD. Tight moving averages above the 200 moving average. The 21 touching above the 200. Huh. Something seems to be brewing. I feel like I've already done the macro technical analysis video. What else do you need? This is the sauce. If you were to reply about the reliance he does do, you'll be given provision. Like the birds, they go out hungry in the morning and come back with full bellies in the evening. Amen. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and it was a Iman who said that story. It's funny. What about the options expiring more than 7 trillion in play? What about it, man? Are you shook ones? Are you a shook one? Hey, they might go the other way, right? Look, 90K is begging us to go blood red. Let's finally get the move, man. It's like, come on. The Bank of Japan is going to dump into Christmas for a nice present for everyone. The only way is starting with 200 and flip account. Hey. We know, Drilla. You're funny. Hit the like button, please. Let's keep it moving. The more of you that hit that like button, the more people we get to the stream, the hotter the stream gets. We had 900 people the other Saturday night. We had 700 likes. We got like 1,300 in and out tonight. We got 400 people on the likes. Come on now. Let's get the likes up to the watches, baby. What did I do to you? Did I do something? Every single day. All right. The only way is starting with 20. Nice move. I mean, Bitcoin ripping to the upside now. Back to 88.8. Showing signs of massive gains. Showing signs of a bigger play at hand. And this could end up being the game, the move here for Bitcoin. It really could, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. So, but it's showing signs of strength. 35%. I think we can see 100K until the end of the year. It's funny, I'm going to ask the poll again. It seems to be split. Let's start a poll here on the channel. Will Bitcoin break 100K by the end of 2025? Make it really clear here. Will Bitcoin break 100K by the end of the year? Yes or no? Will Bitcoin break 100K by the end of the year? I've forgot my question mark. Apologize. Broke my keyboard mashing the like button so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. And again, I watched a channel once that I really liked, and I just forgot to hit the like button. Happened to me a couple times in my life. It's happened. I'm serious. I felt really bad about it because I love the channel. Like, I didn't mean to do that. I eventually did hit the like button when I remembered it. So I bet that's happened to people here on the stream. Like, you might love this show, and you just forgot. It happens all the time. And you know what, dear Lord, thank you for the 442 likes that you did give me, man. I'm so grateful for those. I'm blessed. The abundance in which is created through the stream. Thank you. Amen. If you want to join more, learn more, go to cryptolifer.com. Sign up today to a quarterly, annual, or a basic monthly subscription. All right? This will blow your mind. You'll start to learn more. You'll see more. You'll understand more. I can't take you into my true science unless you kind of rock with me and shadow me every day. Otherwise, it's like, you know what I mean? And even the stream's good, but there's so much more going on outside of the stream. Like this morning, you missed the entry on this trade, and then we got to come in and show you how we made money, but wouldn't it have been nice to be part of the gains? And look, now we sold and got back in after we sold at kind of a local top, got back in again, and adding to the daily gains. And remember, bigger and smaller trades can be made. And I've given ideas on the 3-day, the weekly, the daily. The last 4 or 5 days, I've shown so many reasons why there could be a possible reversal and how, there's areas to take advantage where, like, hey, they might get me, but we might get a bigger move. So I might as well take a shot. You see what I'm saying? Like, you're technically attempting to put in like a double bottom here on that daily. Or a slight higher low. I don't know, man. It's tough. And again, I can see us, and I still see it as a bearish retest on the bigger time frames. Like, I know I'm still like 60-40 bearish, but the bulls are starting to catch a little bit of steam here. Just enough. If today closes bullish engulfing on the daily, we got ourselves something going. So look, I see the S&P about to do a big move. And it likes to pump, man. How long would you demo trade for? About 1.5 years if I really could. If I did it the way I wanted to, 1.5 years. Sometimes though the markets move and you miss out on some massive gains. But if I did it my way, or I made the perfect student, if I built the perfect student, about, I'd say 6 to 18 months. 6 months to 18 months of demo trading. To really build that like that level of confidence. And knowing, and again, not just demo trading, being in the market here's something I got to talk about. So everyone thinks, let's say a trader starts on September 1st. This is going to blow your mind. September 1st. And let's say they trade all the way to the end of the year, December 31st. Now, this is going to blow your mind. So there was, 120 days, right? It's 4 months, September, October, November, December. Let's just say 120 days. We're just going to round, but 30 times 4. Now, someone calls themselves a trader. They trade like a couple days, don't watch the market, jump in here and there. And to me, that's not really trading. That's being a here and there participant. But if every morning you kind of update yourself, every night you update yourself these 120 days, and so you're in the market every day as an observant, as an observer, but you're not in the market every day. To me, that's real trading. Why? Why is that? Well, because trading is training, all right? And you're training yourself. If you dabble here and there and then the market gets really crazy and you start, because once the market rips, you'll start looking at the market every day. Now, once you haven't looked at the market every day, there's going to be the want to overtrade because you haven't looked at the market every day. You understand this? You see what's happening? So you dabble during the bear market a little bit. Then the market gets hot and that's when you rush in. That's why when the market changes, you're still too hot. And that's why when the market starts to go down, you can't recognize it. But if you jumped into my trading group today and you got the information and you were with us through the last 6 months during this last downtrend, right? And you were in the market every day, there would have been days where you wanted to trade, but you didn't. See? Aha. Let me talk about that right now. There's 2 types of skills in trading. Knowing when to get into a trade, that's a really big skill. Right? Like today, this morning, I took a signal. We were above the 200 on the 21, on the 15 minute. It told me that I should get into a trade. It told me when to get into a trade, right? I had back tested something after years of researching, and then I used that research and probability to enter a trade. Logical, right? Took me years to perfect, and so instead of the fast way that someone says, let me just get an indicator or a signal, let me just buy what people are telling me. No, let me watch the market for years. Let me get my mind and my emotions disconnected. Let me become a logical participant of the market where my subconscious mind starts feeding me the information and not my emotions and my own brain. Let me separate the two and actually start to trade the proper way, right? 10 years from now, I have a system, I have a way, and then I get to do it out of nowhere on a random Friday, and it looks like I know exactly what I'm talking about. But it took years of me losing, years of pain to even show today's trade. Okay? Years of pain to show today's trade. Okay, so the first thing is when to enter the trade. That's the first skill, number 1 skill. Maybe even the second skill. These can go back. And number 2 is when not to enter a trade. People have no idea how this is just as important. Number 2 is just as important as number 1. But no one talks about this. So this is the deal. If you're not, so that's why when you join my trading group and I do the update every morning, and you might wake up every day and be like, he does the update again. And I do an update at night and you're like, man, I don't want to watch this update. But if you get into the system with me and you go 30 days straight, 60 days straight, 90 days straight, and it doesn't mean every day you're in the market trading your butt off. It means in the morning you check in, you go hang out with your family all day, don't look at the market, or you maybe glance at it, and then at night you check in. It just means every day you do 2 check-ins. Doesn't mean you have to be in the market all the time. It means you check in every day. You observe the market every day. The reason being is because your emotions are going to get pulled, and there's going to be days, oh man, because when you're always looking at the market, you're going to have the on button to maybe overtrade a little bit, and you're going to learn how to keep that down. You get what I mean? If you don't always look at the market, you're going to dabble, but then when the market gets hot, you're going to run in because it's so hot, you're going to be on it every day because you can't stop yourself, because that's when the market's so hot, you're not going to stop yourself. I know us as traders. It's just not going to happen. How did the cup get over there? Funny. You see, so by being in the market every day, you're going to be able to handle that want that comes out to overtrade. That's like the best way I could say it. And without putting in the work, it's going to be hard for you to take over those emotions at the right time. You have to work with those emotions for a few months at a time before you can handle them. The emotions are the worst part of trading, or the hardest part. They're the real stallion inside that we have to tackle. They're the horse that's like you're trying to ride. It's the emotions, man. That's what is getting everybody out. Okay? A lot of people have the skill. They join a trading group. They learn. They understand. I'm not the only guy with a system, right? Anyone that puts the work in will develop a system over time. It's about understanding who you are when the trades come at you and how you react to trading. Like, these are the hard things that I had to learn. And this thing no one really discusses. I don't hear it enough on YouTube because it's all like everyone's trying to sell people something. They don't want people to feel uneasy. They don't want to tell them the real stuff that makes people kind of like, because when someone's uneasy, it's not easy to sell them, right? Like, so they don't want to get into the nitty gritty. They don't want to make it sound all perfect and simple and wrap it up kind of in a very ambiguous way. And they say, join my trading group, we get the gains, but it's not that simple. It's not that easy. It's a long process that I would like to take you on, and I'd like to bring you in on. So I know I can show you the light if you're willing to come down the journey, but it's a process. You do have to desire more than 90% of the world to live a life that, that most people don't. So, and you know what I've learned too is the most successful people in the world at trading, at their task, whatever they do. I don't care if it's basketball, football, trading, real estate. They love what they do, man. They're in love with the moment. They love their life. Every breath is gratitude. And I'm telling you, from that idea, from staying in the present moment and being very grateful for every moment that you do have, there's something really high frequency that comes out of that. And it pulls in a massive amount of abundance and wealth. You have to remember, the universe is an energy source. Look at it like this big energy source. Like, picture the sun, but picture it like kind of close your eyes and picture this just gigantic energy source pushing all this energy onto the earth, onto all of us. And money follows this energy source. Like, the more energy that someone has, the more money. Because I believe there's a positive energy source that wants to flow through and wants to go through you and into others, right? So think, if an energy source can get into you and multiply, it's going to use you to multiply. Understand? So if you're an abundant person with an abundant thought process, like for instance, when I multiply, I go out and I shop. I go to restaurants and I tip the waiter ridiculous amounts because I'm in such a good mood and I want to spread abundance. This person goes home and says, my prayers were answered. I just got this huge tip today. I couldn't believe it. What a nice guy. And then that abundance spreads and that abundance spreads, right? And then you do other things like, I might go to a local flower shop and just buy flowers that day because I'm in a good mood. And I might overspend. I might spend like $200-300 on flowers for no other reason, but I want my business is doing well. I want to spend money on this business. You know what I mean? And so next thing you know, like, abundance is just, I go to the dry cleaners and I get more shirts dry cleaned because, why not? Everything's, you know what I mean? And you just start participating. You go to the local deli, you buy the nicer steaks, you spend more money and more money into circulation. So when you're living high energy, the universe is going to flow into you because it knows that your energy is going to flow into others. Understand? So once you're on high frequency, the abundance will start to flow into you because the universe is just using you as a multiplier effect. And that's why you can't let negative thoughts in, because the multiplier, the universe does not want to push, or, the energy, God, and I don't want to take it away from God. God is amazing. But we are inside of a system that we're inside of God's beautiful system here. And there's a way to tap in. There's a way to tap in. This is with your trading. This is with everything, because your trades aren't going to do great if you think you're horrible. If, I ever see the person that says, every time I buy, it dumps. Every time I sell, it pumps. You know what I mean? I hear that all the time. I say, hey guys, don't worry, it'll dump. I just bought. I'll get it to dump for you. I just bought in. And it's a joke, but it's really not, because that person is really starting to talk negatively to themselves. Okay? Got that third eye wide open. Thanks, Sammy. Amen. Yeah. Now, most people will hear this stuff, and some people will shy away from it, saying, this is voodoo. This isn't what, I came here for technical analysis. But they don't realize that without positive mindset, TA is very difficult. It's even harder without positive thoughts. It's actually probably the most difficult thing you could do. So if you have any negative thoughts, it's going to be even more difficult. So the one thing I can tell you is to stay positive as much as humanly possible when trading. And always look at your positives. There may be some negatives in there. You can't shy away from bad behavior. Like if you put no stop losses, you keep getting wrecked. You can't be like, oh, that's the market. If I did it right the last time, I would have hit it. No, you keep making mistakes and you're over risking. Had you, Like, dang, had I used the stop loss, that only would have been a couple $100. Now I'm liquidated. So, you know, we make our own bed, you know, and thank you so much. I just want to say, if you keep pushing, if you believe that there is knowledge to be had, then you're going to find it. And you're right here today because you're a knowledge seeker, so I appreciate you for being here on the stream today. Okay? Remember, watch my pre-recorded videos. They're going to be add-ons to what we're already doing here on the stream. And again, this is technically a symmetrical triangle. I have to be honest. It's a chubby, it could dump. Bitcoin could be back at 84.5 by the end of the day. It's a very, very, very sketchy time to trade. It's Friday, low volume. Just, you know, I just want to put that out there. I would wait for the daily candle to close, see if that thing closes bullish engulfing, you know, and bigger time frame, you know, weekly, daily, stuff like that. This could come right back. Look, it could come back down to 88, come back up. You know, you expect some volatility here now in the nose of this channel. I can't tell you it's going to go up for sure. It looks okay. Smart move would be, hey, does it break up here and make a flag, and then you take that flag? Because that would be a nice retest. Again, you got to watch that, put alerts, and you got to hit it kind of as it happens. Retests look beautiful after the fact, but they really need to be done in real time. And they take guts because you don't know it's going to retest for sure until it does. But the more you do them, the more you start to get into and you're like, wow, I'll take, you know, it's just supportive resistance flipping. You get into the zone. Yeah. If you can think it, speak it into existence. At first, I couldn't understand why so much positive affirmation, but it's a key to open success. Yes. Yeah. What was this Irish saying or proverb Sam said earlier? Yeah. It's God only helps those who helps themselves. You know, that's what it was, you know, or God helps those who help themselves. Not only, but, you know, it's like the faith too. Like, because when you believe, man. You can't have faith with doubt. You can't have faith with fear, right? So once you're living in fear, you know, you just start to kind of, you lower your chances of winning immediately. All right. The Hyundai Group hit by Bitcoin email as police probe copycat extortion. South Korea's Hyundai Group on Friday received a threatening email demanding 13 Bitcoin to stop a... Oh my gosh. I didn't want to say the words. If you don't give me 13 Bitcoin, I'll hit the building. Oh my gosh. They cleared the building. They sensed, but no one was discovered. Authorities considered it a hoax. Oh my gosh. Weird stuff going on out here. Funny. I mean, not funny, but more, I mean, funny as in strange. You know what I mean? Like, that's odd. I should say odd, not funny. $100 XRB isn't fantasy. These people love this stuff. I hold it because you never know. You never know. Funny, why Bitcoin's price did not rise or fall because of the Japan rate hike. It's like, because it's not... Who here was here yesterday when I told you it wasn't going to dump? When I actually told you it was going to pump? I said, I see Bitcoin going up. Anyone here yesterday when I told you that the BOJ rate hike, and if you went online and you followed anybody, what was the majority saying? What did the majority say? That we were going to have a massive collapse today. Am I the only one? Right? If you went on Twitter and you started eating up the bearish tones, they were telling you we're going to have a massive, watch us massively collapse right now, right? Dump all the way down to 70,000, right? As I say it. And we might, you know, but yeah, remember Grandmaster Friend? He was telling you guys that we were going to dump. No, I'm just joking. He never said that. He never said that. I love him. I love you, Grandmaster Friend. My buddy forever, man. No, but seriously, like, so I was here yesterday and I said, man, BOJ, everyone says we're going to dump. And I said, no. I said, that's going to actually make Bitcoin more appealing. You have to remember, the Bank of Japan and their government they look like they're a mess right now. You see what I'm saying? They don't look like they're in control. They look like they're behind the 8 ball, raising the rates, you know. So every time government looks inefficient, Bitcoin comes through because Bitcoin is a self-sufficient contract that doesn't need a human to mess it up. So every time we watch people who are already in contract, like governments who, you know, when you win An election, you have to sign a contract, right? I'm a senator, right? So all these humans in contract for what they say they're going to do. And like, whenever we see inefficiency in government, to me, it makes Bitcoin more bullish because it means that these, AMAs, amalgamated market makers, all the stuff, like the way cryptocurrency works is we don't need the corruption of someone making decisions. We've already set a precedent. Like my money makes the decision. It halves every 4 years. You know what I mean? You have to mine it. It doesn't come out of nowhere. To get it, you have to put in the work. People have to put in proof of work or they can't get it. Show me your work or you can't get the money. Now, the Federal Reserve can just print money. They don't have to show work for any of it. That's the problem. See, that's why they call it proof of work. Don't you understand? It was saying, hey, you print money out of nothing. So I go to work every day for money. Let's just say I'm a carpenter and I work for another guy. Let's just say he has a business. He makes $1 million a year. He has 5 of us. We all go to different jobs. He pays me 80 grand. I'm a start off carpenter. I got to work under some guy and I make 80 grand a year. And 5 years from now, and I put, my money aside, and 5 years from now, you just keep taking money from a printing press with no work behind it and printing it. So every time I work, you're lowering the value of my work. You're lowering what I get for the money that I put in. It's unfair to me. That's not fair to me. Like, that's not fair. One day I sat here and I realized how the monetary system works. And I said, that is not fair. Just not fair. Look, that looks like a double top. I just got to put this out there. Price action is volatile, meaning it changes every second, Be very careful, okay? But so I started thinking, why should I work for something that you get to print to zero without any work behind it? So I started buying gold and silver because I said, at least they got to mine it, man. I'm done with this game. So in 2010 and 11, I opted out of the dollar, started buying gold and silver. I said, enough is enough. That's crazy. And I eventually amassed like 50 grand of it. So I had no money really in my bank. I just had a bunch of gold and silver stashed, right? I kept buying it online and stashing it in my home too, which was crazy. When I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment in Queens, I figured I would look so broke, no one figured I had anything. Kind of true. It was almost like, but I got lucky too. No one ever, I lived in somewhat of a safe neighborhood, I guess. I mean, right near me wasn't too bad. Someone got shot like my last year there, a block away at the CVS. It was so crazy, man. Freaking murder at the CVS like 2 months before I left. Like, it was so shady, like right underneath the train, man. I'm like, what the neighborhood started changing because they started allowing homeless people to stay in, all the motels in my neighborhood on Queens Boulevard. They were already kind of seedy, but they had people that were using them and doing their thing. You can only imagine, drug dealers and prostitutes and stuff like that. And I'm not, it just is what it was. But it was discreet. It was kept clean. People paid their bills. It went on like that for years from, the early 2000s and on. And then next thing you know, like the last few years I was in Queens, they started subsidizing the motels. And like basically you were getting vouchers from the government to house homeless people. And so my neighborhood changed because there was all these motels that had homeless people in them then. And they were like doing heavy drugs out the window and they were hanging out. Then after they got kicked out, it was just really weird. So my whole neighborhood changed. Like it wasn't the same neighborhood. I had to get out of there, man. Like COVID changed so many things, so many things. And I was like, I kind of was, I was worried for my kids, man. My daughter's really growing up in that neighborhood. I said, I don't know, this isn't safe. And I'm happy I moved out. And God bless. And as I told you, like my aspirations for wealth were to keep my family safe and to be able to spend more time with my kids. I said, I don't want to be that guy that has to go to work every day. I want to work from home so I can see my wife and kids every day. I said, dear Lord, provide a way for me to work from home. And I prayed for it all the time and I worked for it. I prayed and worked and manifested. I saw other people that worked from home and I emulated what they did. I learned from them. They were all online so I could watch them every day. Like right now, you can watch me. There's a blueprint I'm leaving behind somewhere without me saying anything. There's something I'm doing that you can learn from without me saying a word. I'm just here every day. And, that's what Jim Rohn taught me. He said, follow the successful people. He said, they're leaving clues. He said, successful people leave clues. He said, listen to them, watch them, and emulate them. Like they're going to tell you the road they walk down. It's not going to be an easy road, right? But they're going to show you the road that they walk down and you're going to be able to follow. This is very important in your journey as you want to become, financially free and continue to grow. It's about financial progression, right? And again, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say and do should be taken as financial advice, but it's about life progression. Finance is just one of them. Health, life, mental abilities, spiritual connection, and the human connection, right? Human connection is so important. People think money will give them everything, but then they make no human connection. It's all about the money. You'll end up really depressed and alone. You'll start using your money to create relationships, and then you might not find it creates the best relationships. A lot of people do this. A lot of rich people get really rich. They end up alone, you know, and they end up having no real human connection, and they use their money to make human connection, and it works somewhat. It can also attract the wrong type of people in your life, right? So just remember that relationships are key. You do have to, you know, it's good to be entrepreneurial. It's good to keep money on your mind and have finances, but don't sacrifice everything for it. You know, there is a balance in life so that you're actually experiencing life. I got to tell myself this all the time. I work 7 days a week, so you can only imagine on this beautiful Friday afternoon, you know, as we come into Friday afternoon. So Bitcoin's holding 88,000. We're getting tight. You really need a bounce here soon. Like this, it kind of has to bounce right here. This trend line. Otherwise, you're in an M and you're coming back down to the 200 on the 5. You don't want to lose the 200 on the what? The 15 pretty far. Looks like the 1 minute may have lost it already. It did. It's toying with it though. So we'll see. Look for tight price action here. It says either you're going to start dumping now or in 2 hours, we're going to have a decision and we get a bounce. So that's pretty dang good. I mean, even though I can't say exactly what's going to happen, I mean, that's close enough, right? I mean, what else do you need? So we did really good with Bitcoin today. I'm proud of the stream. I'm proud of the information we provided. I'm proud of the team. I'm proud of everybody here on the live jumping on in. Follow me on X at CryptoLifer33. I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here and constantly supporting the stream. We love you. We appreciate you. We will continue to stream throughout all the ups and downs. When Bitcoin's back and ripping new all-time highs and everyone says, I told you so, we will have never missed a day. We'll continue to pump and show you how we did it. And we never gave up in the bear or the bull. And when everyone comes back to stream, that's streaming, not streaming now, or everyone that disappeared, and everyone comes back to the bandwagon, you'll remember, man, the lifers never stopped. We just continue to pump. So stay amazing, stay fresh, stay ready for this dump down, possibly to 85. Stay ready for this pump back up. Be careful. Use a stop loss. Everything is probability. I am not 100%. Nothing I say and do should be taken as such. But we are looking for a bounce here off the bottom of this back to the top of the channel. Boom. Back up to 88.7. That's what we're looking for. So, and stay tuned. All right. Look out for my macro technical analysis video coming out later on today as well. That will be made pretty soon. So I love you all. I thank you so much for being here. Let me take a look at the chat and jump back into the chat in case there's anything that I'm missing. Wow. We got a lot of people. That guy keeps pushing Hachi, man. Come on, man. Stop that nonsense. I think we agree the Fed printing money has devalued the dollar, which makes the case for Bitcoin. But isn't it a paradox that we are now rooting for more printing to bet Bitcoin? We're encouraging more inflation, essentially. Not encouraging it. It's just the facts of life, right? It's kind of just what's happening. That you don't have to encourage it. It's very simple. The more they print, the more they have to print. Every year you print more, you create a bigger deficit. Every time you make a different deficit, you have to print more money to stop that. And it becomes a never-ending cycle. Your thoughts on Dash, daily time frame, thank you. BTC chart, do it again. I don't know what he's saying. Light, what about going short? Thank you. Saying, could you take a look at swarms? Enjoy being in the 99. Thank you. Saying, can we check Palantir and Tesla? We looked at Tesla already. Bitcoin Cash looking now. Oh, well, we got a lot of asks here, so we got some time. My man, Bitcoin DA, you're funny. Can you donate a little bit because I'm still deploying? God bless you, man. Thank you. Bitcoin Cash. I love Bitcoin Cash. It's been holding its levels very, very nicely. It's been a call in the trading group now for like a week or two. And there's just no reason to think that it can't do damage. The entry in there too at 545 is already up at 599. I see it headed to 1200. It was just, while Bitcoin did all these crazy dumps and dips, this made it inverted and just kept continuing to make higher lows. Pretty obvious to me, and that's my signal. Like I don't overthink this stuff, everyone. I hope you get as free as me and you learn my system and just kind of Just kind of trade like a bot. Tight moving averages, 21 above the 200. Simple stuff, right? And we gave this entry like weeks ago in my trading group. This is already in gains. You can go back to the tape and you can even search it in the group. And there was like nothing to look at. I gave this was like one of the hottest calls. Rudy, I hope your dad's doing okay. We love you, man. God bless you, brother. You're always in my thoughts and my prayers, man. Dear Lord, please bless my man's Rudy's father. Amen. Saying, can we check Palantir and Tesla, please? We'll take a look at Palantir. We looked at it yesterday in swarms. Said Palantir looked interesting. You know, if they print money, you feel like Palantir has to go up because it went up the last time. But it has like a shoulder, head, right shoulder possible. At the same time, you have to remember they're printing a lot of money. And the S&P looks like it's going up. And Palantir has kind of been running with that. You know, the whole NVIDIA, the whole run game. I don't know. There's a chance it actually just channels further into some type of flag here. It's just a little more extended than everything else. 3 days on the 21, though. Like, it's not that far. And so is the weekly. It's kind of like, for things to be bearish, they have to be really far away from the 21. When they're near the 21, it tells me they can grow. I wouldn't be surprised if this just goes sideways with the S&P. It makes a right shoulder, creates enough short squeeze, and we squeeze again. 330 would be the target for Palantir. It just wouldn't make sense that the S&P and the NASDAQ would pump and Palantir would dump. However, it does have bearish div, and it's overextended. So I just think there's better charts out there, like the S&P itself even is a safer play, but I think Tesla's a safer play too. It's not as extended. Swarms. Someone wants me to look at swarms. This thing came down off the very low at 1 cent. It's at 1 7/10 of a penny now. I'm not liking this at all. It looks pretty whatevers. Looks like it may have got, it's doing the model. I think this is why people they just want to see, hey, this is what people do. They learn from me. They see what I teach them, and they want to see, do I see what they see, right? I think it's an amazing way to learn. I mean, that says it's going to break out, but you have to remember, like, Bitcoin gets jittery. You have low volume weekends. They could easily stop hunt everybody down here and go after them. It's just, you got to be careful. You got to know when a flag is in a high volume, high pressurized bullish pump, or when a flag could go either way. I like it. It's channeling. Here I would look at the 1 hour. It looks pretty good too. But I'd just be careful. That's all. You know, I'd be careful for low volume shenanigans. I feel like it's going to hit 2.8 and it might pump out the flag or it might dip and pump out the flag. I think both could happen, but I do see it hitting 2.8. You know, that's its measured move and it's getting tight. I think you're onto something on the smaller time frames. I don't like the bigger time frames, but hey, it's at the end of it's like beat down, so. He says light. What about going short? That's bit light, right? Wow, so we talked about light breaking out from this ascending triangle. And look, Bitcoin looks very similar to this right now, kind of similar, right? Look at this. I'm actually going to do something that's going to blow your mind. Let's grab the bars pattern here, right? And again, no, I'm not saying that everything's going to, but you hit copy, right? It's weird. Usually I have the, oh, there it is. Okay. I was about to say, I have the bot. I was like, where's my bolt? Where's the bolt? So let's take a look here at what's happening. So now I'm going to paste, right? And you see like what this is. And it just looks so eerily similar to what we're seeing now, right? See that? Look at that. I mean, that's crazy. Again, it's just like how patterns work, but it's so, you know, I'll see a lot of progression. It just looks very so. You could match it in many different ways, right? But yeah, and it doesn't say Bitcoin's going up for sure, but it's interesting, right? I mean, it definitely gives you some some vision. Some possible idea there. I think we agree that Fed printing money has devalued the dollar. Yeah. Thank you, Infinite Growth. We love you. Yeah. What are your thoughts on Dash daily time frame? When you haven't looked at Dash in a while. since the crazy run up. I mean, it did what I like here. Look on the 10-minute. It made an ascending triangle, touched the 21 above the 200, entry there, stop loss below the 200, and that would have produced a gain. That's why you just do the same. Look, see, you could do the same thing on multiple. You know, right there. You know, touching the daily 200 is usually a great place. Like, that's a great place. You know, you're buying heavy fear, where most people think the market is done and cooked. It's a privacy coin. I love Dash too back in the day. I still hold some Dash like sitting on a wall from like a long time ago. I mean, that looks like it could pump all the way to 157. Like that's where it would go back to. It's in 39. I mean, it's almost a 4x, right? Hey, buying on the 200 moving average is basically buying discount. Buying on or near, a little bit below, a little bit above, anywhere near that 200 is discount. So again, I'm not saying it's guaranteed to pump. And what you would look for is like this shoulder, kind of head, right shoulder. You're probably more shallow like that. I don't know, a breakout over time, right? You might be onto something. It's very oversold. It's curving up in the stochastics. So it takes guts, though, to buy assets right here at the low. You know, they've been punishing people for buying the lows, so it's been tough. It's like every time I bought the low, they punish me. It makes me, you know, it's like, dang, I keep going back to slaughter. Like, yes, sir. Please slaughter me again. You know, it's like crazy. So the trade went back to break even. Nothing special. Just want to make that clear, right? You can see, or no, back up 12%. Hey, we're still inside the flag above the 200. Everything's kind of still doing what it should be doing. So you just got to wait that out. And like I showed you, it's the bigger idea on that 15-minute that we just kind of went over here. Right here, right? So with that being said, I'm going to jump on out of here. 12:10, some extra time here on the live. I got to work now and do the macro technical analysis video. But I love you. I appreciate you. And I thank you so much for your constant viewership and support. It's been an amazing time. I hope each and every one of you continue to push forward every day. And don't forget, on this holiday week, if your kids are off, mine are, and you're back with your family, enjoy your time with everyone. Be present. Put your phone down when you can. And just, you know, be awesome. So, long live crypto, Bitcoin Chris. God bless you, man. Thank you for saying that. God bless crypto, Bitcoin Chris, man. God bless you, Chris. Up in heaven, man. We love you, bro. As the warrior of the light that continues to shine what you gave me, man. May God bless you, brother. Thank you for saying that, man. That was a special moment. Everyone, I love you. I appreciate you. I will see you tomorrow in the morning. I'll see you for live streams throughout the weekend. We don't stop. I love you. I appreciate you. And I'll see you on the flip side. God bless you all. Thank you so much. And, you know, you're not going to be great to start, but you got to start to be great. The secret to success is getting started. I started the stream. I started trading. Everyone has to start somewhere. It all starts somewhere, folks. I love you. I appreciate you. Be safe. Be strong. Be amazing. You can, you will. You are the best. You've got this. Stay positive. Thank you.